So this first heat of the men's 4x1, Latvia, Bulgaria, Israel, Estonia and Ireland all involved, along with Austria, Cyprus and Serbia. And interesting because Serbia, obviously that long jump victory will help pull them away from the drop zone. Cyprus could do with those kind of points. Not too sure whether this is one of the events where they'd make big gains though. Could spring a surprise. I think the Serbians likely to be a bit stronger. Austria with Marcus Fuchs, really they have one standout sprinter, a bit like Magdalena Lindner, who helped pull them up through. And Ireland with Israel Olatunde on the final leg. And don't forget, it was last weekend in Geneva they broke the record that had stood since the Sydney Olympic Games. 25-year-old national record. Estonians, well, national record of just a few moments ago in the women's race. And Israel with their Blessing Afrifa, world under-20 and European under-23 champion over the longest sprint. And Bulgaria, of course, yeah, as we said in the women's race, looking for every point they can get at this stage. And the Latvians with the Grava third overall in the men's 100 metres individually. But just looking at the overall picture, then we're close obviously to the end of the day, and it looks like 8 out of 16 teams have so far got maximum points at some stage in today's competition. And Belgium still looking very, very strong right across the board, as you would have anticipated, and that's even despite the disqualification because of stepping on the inside of the track. Unfortunate and harsh, but it is an element of discipline that's needed really from Dalemans, even though she'll obviously rue that, and makes quite a small difference in the end. There was no one in close contention behind her. Anyway, this first heat of the men's sprint relay with Latvia, Bulgaria, Israel, Estonia, Ireland, Austria, Cyprus and Serbia on the outside in lane 8. So now pushing out of these blocks, and you can see right on the inside Latvia having a good opening. Watch out for these first changeovers. Latvians obviously disqualified in the women's race. All still going along strongly though. Serbia still making up good ground on the outside then as they continue blind. Second changeover. And the Irish team, obviously with Israel Olatunde still to come, looking good, and they'll be so high on confidence. Especially him after that fantastic run in Geneva last weekend. He was outside of his lane, but shouldn't matter too much as Olatunde comes home in 38.89, and a fantastic performance for the Irish. Well, it's showing as a national record once again here in Maribor, and look at that margin of victory as well. Nearly 0.8 of a second ahead of the Bulgarians who had a good run, and then Austria in third place.
Well, there were some spectacular celebrations there from Israel Olatunde. What a character he is. And making sure he's going around and congratulating those who he's just raced against. It was the relay of dreams from Ireland, executed to perfection. Each of the handovers, and look at the momentum that they've gained. Down that back straight. Nailed the order of the athletes. A real jostle for positioning there, as you can see with Austria. Both within their lanes, but leaning to one side. And then it was just about what position they'd let Israel Olatunde go in. And there's no looking back. As soon as he got the baton into his hand, straying just slightly out of his lane though, and so obvious to see with those bright yellow spikes. But look at him fly. And there is no stopping these Irish quartets at the minute. So full of speed. Focus, precision, everything you need to be successful as a relay quartet, and that is why they're smashing records from decades ago and now carving their own history.
Yes, and it's not even the same quartet as did it last weekend. It's Borriakinola, obviously one of the fastest in Irish history, replaced by Sean Agbobo here, so slightly different team. It was 38.92 last weekend, it's 38.88, so just a fraction quicker.
One last track race of the day, and it is the second heat of the men's 4x100. Denmark finding themselves on the outside. Simon Hansen with the first leg, keen to get things off to a good start. Already seen him compete today. What can he do in his second outing on the track? Slovakia go in lane 7. Next to Slovenia. Rene Guillemard geeing up the crowd. Want to draw on all the support they can. Well, it's been his day today at Femstad Volden. Really impressive run earlier this morning to see him on a faster time than everyone in the heat. It was supposedly the faster heat. Just same punch on the first leg for Norway today. Belgium go in lane 4. And they replicate what the women did just a few moments ago. Romania in lane 3. Keep your eyes on Turkey in lane 2. Ronald Guliev goes on the final leg for them. World and European champion. It has been a very successful career, winning 200 meters in London in 2017. And we'll see him again tomorrow. Marko Čeko going on the final leg for Croatia after featuring in the long jump earlier today. Belgium
on your
such
mark.
a good position going into day 2. Can they end on another high? Have a little margin at the top of the table ahead of Norway. Norway go in lane 5. Croatia in 1, Turkey in 2, Romania 3, Belgium 4, Norway 5, Slovenia 6, Slovakia 7, Denmark on the outside in lane 8. And we're called back. Taking a look at the reaction times, and well, Alex, it seems to be Denmark, although the camera's immediately focused on Slovenia, but it looks from my reckoning that it's Denmark who have just triggered with a quick reaction time there.
Yeah, we don't have too much to go off apart from the fact that we had the Akcham disqualification with a faster than legal reaction time, and then it was a green card by the time that Denmark had a similar issue in the women's 4x1, so they were in the same lane as well, so very much a case of deja vu. I feel it's fairly likely that the officials will give a green card here, but we'll have to wait and see. They did obviously pull back to take a look, but it may have been quite early movement. Teammates worried on and just looking across the line. Obviously, in the last couple of years, the Danes have improved their national records in men's and women's 4x1.
Well, confident, just flick of the hands from Simon Hansen. And they are going to adjust the, just reset the blocks there.
On your mark.
The Danes are stood behind. Deja vu for the Danes who go in lane 8, but the green card shown after a very fast reaction time. 0.042. Simon Hansen leading the way out for Denmark. Keep your eyes on Belgium and Norway battling it out in the point standings, and a side-by-side in lanes 4 and 5.
Okay.
And once again we're called back, and I think it will be the blocks of the Dane again. We're focused straight on Simon Hansen. I don't know if you said it the first time round, Alex, but I thought it was a great opportunity to use deja vu at that opportunity. I don't know. And they're looking at the blocks again. Could this be an instant where there's an issue with the blocks rather than the athlete? He's shrugging his shoulders. This is now the third time we've had a false start, and it has been linked to these blocks. The Danes once again scattered all the way around the track, waiting. The officials huddled around the screen, trying to figure out what is happening. It's a very, very quick reaction time of 0.044. And now we wait.
Yeah, it's the same track judge as we saw at the third division. There was quite a lot of lenience there. Quite possible, though, that, you know, this high-level competition, that you wouldn't necessarily see the same thing, especially given the abundance of teenagers that were in the third division. But we do see this, as I pointed out before, almost A4-sized green card. Not going to miss that in a hurry.
He was giving a little side eye, I think, to that green card as it came past Simon Hansen before the smile did appear. Shall we try and get underway for a third and hopefully final time? So once again, if you don't know already, it's Denmark who are in the blocks in lane 8, which have been causing a fair bit of trouble. Slovakia inside them in 7, Slovenia in 6. Big roar, you imagine, for the home favourites. They'll be well supported. Norway have one of the stories of the day, Fremstad Volden, leading them out. Belgium go in lane 4, Romania in 3, Turkey have Guliev going on the final leg, so keep an eye out for him, finishing strongly for Turkey, who are in lane 2, and Croatia lane 1. Heat B, the final race of the day. It's like we don't want things to end here in Maribor. Shot of the flashing lights on the back of the blocks there. And this time we are properly underway in the second heat of the men's 4x100, and the Danes have made an excellent start with Simon Hansen, who hands over, and they have a commanding lead here. Being pursued though by Norway. Slovenia moving well, and there won't be much to separate them. All eyes on these outside lanes. Denmark still moving well. Attacks now coming on the inside. Turkey starting to get things moving. Slovenia coming through, and they're being roared home. But Norway to the side of them. Denmark coming back, but it won't be enough. Norway take victory in the second of the men's 4x100 heats. A great performance from the Norwegians. And a national record for Slovenia, I think we've just heard, be read out over the tannoy. A national record for both Norway and Slovenia. Well, they were roared all the way home, the Slovenians. Bright green kit. Denmark take third after an impressive start. So hard to match through that first 100 metres. Belgium fourth. Turkey were moving well, but didn't quite have it in the closing stages. Well, Alex, when we got underway, finally, for the third time of asking, it's a race that delivered.
Absolutely. So Norway win both the individual men's 100 metres somewhat unexpectedly, and also the men's relay. And that record, I make it, has been held since 1997. It was 38.96, so they've taken exactly a tenth off it. And it was also set at the European Cup Super League, so an equivalent of this competition. And then Slovenia's record had been held since 2002, and they've taken just under a tenth off it. It was 39.20. So most of these athletes weren't born at the point when those records are set. Fascinating. And have a look here. Yeah, as you said, home crowd roaring on. And even if that's not to a victory, it's still giving them something extra. And it ends up being that second place in this race. But again, don't forget the Irish quartet, 38.88. And so therefore it's extremely close overall between that maximum points for 16 and 15 points for the Irish team therefore. And then third ends up being Slovenia.
in many events on Athletics Stadium Italiano in Maribor.
Well, this is what the team championships are all about, really. These team performances, the opportunity to race as one. We'll see it again tomorrow with the mixed 4x400. And confirmation of the results from Heat B, Norway, Slovenia with national records. When we finally got underway, well, it was so worth it. 3 national records across the 2 heats, with Ireland going in Heat 1 and taking 2nd place overall, but hardly anything in it. Well, you hope that in the not too distant future we get to see those 2 go side by side, head and head, Norway and Ireland. DNF for Croatia.
Hello, I'm Leonardo Fabri, and you must subscribe to the European Athletics channel, because otherwise I'm gonna fight you.